The FujiCast is an independent Loading Zone production.
Kev, it was a really weird New Year. New Year's are always a bit weird for us. I'm not really a big New Yearer, particularly now Barney doesn't like the fireworks very much. But in the afternoon I said, right, so we were sorting out what we were doing, and Jack said, I won't be there. I said, what do you mean you're not going to be there? I'm going out. Oh, yeah, going to go see mates. So we were one down. And then I thought, well, Thomas is still here. He said, I'm going out to see my mate Ted. And that was it. Kev, that's it.
Yeah, we had the same thing.
Parenthood done.
Rosa went to the Rattlebone.
The what?
The Rattlebone pub.
That sounds very dodgy. The Rattlebone sounds a bit dodgy to me, Kev. I wouldn't want my daughter to be going to the Rattlebone.
Where Prince Harry used to buzz around.
Oh, right, even worse.
and then Albie went to his friend Harry's.
Yeah, oh, right.
Me and Gemma just went to the Three Cups and met some friends, and we were home by 10.
I believe you probably were, actually.
The FujiCast.
I would have thought, yeah, you'd have been tucked up by 10. Now, do the Horlicks, please. Oh. Anybody that doesn't know what Horlicks is will think that's it's a British drink it's
horrible.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a bit like. Have you ever had Ovaltine? Do you remember Ovaltine? We are the Ovaltinis. Yeah, it's a bit like that. So we're so rock and roll, you and I, Kev. We are now officially rock and rollers. Oh, and you're younger than me.
Only just.
Anyway, happy New Year, Kev.
Yes, Happy New Year, Neil. Happy New Year, listeners.
Did you have a good Christmas as well? Was it a
yeah,
good? Oh yeah, you were stealing all the food out of your brother-in-law's fridge, weren't you?
Yeah, it was really nice actually. I've got to say, we had a really lovely kind of 10 days or whatever it was. Lots of things going on, stuff. Yeah, it was nice. It was nicer than I expected it to be. Read into that what you so wish.
I hope he's not listening. Oh, did you nick anything from the house?
Couple of wallets.
Did you come back with more
Rolex watch?
Oh dear. Anyway, look, welcome to the FujiCast. You and your questions sent to, not many of them actually, to click at fujicast.co.uk, and questions sent in via. We're going to be leaning on Facebook actually, via Facebook. Which Kev gets to with able assistance of our Neil, not me Neil, the other Neil, Neil Ford, who organises our life and questions. Right, where do we haven't got a bookity book, have we? This week, no. I got some nice books over Christmas from those who listen to the Photo Walk. Actually, it's nice to know that it's alive and well. People making these beautiful books.
Good.
Yeah, I always
good.
Yeah. So let's start with. Should we start with the Facebook, and I'll try and look for anything that I've got on email. That's a great way to start the year, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
Questions.
Well, we'll go. The last question that was sent into Facebook was approximately 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. It's fair enough. We had a break. Other people can have a break as well. And this question was from Alex Mealin. I think I pronounced that right. Mealin. Mealin. Anyway, hi Kev, hi Neil. From the not so sunny, rather grey Isle of Man. Have you ever been to the Isle of Man, Neil?
I don't think I have.
No, I haven't either. Anyway, Alex has, because he lives there. I've been a wedding photographer since 2009. Being young and in my early 20s, I became quite successful at it. In 2017, with a baby on the way, I decided to change careers and have had an 8-year hiatus in the photography business. Recently, some things have happened in my life that have made me realize that life is too short to not do what I love. So I started up again. The landscape has changed quite a bit on the photography front, and I'm finding that weddings are a little more difficult to get booked than they used to be. Do you think there is any reason for this, and have you got any advice in driving more business? I'm getting myself to as many wedding fairs as possible and Facebook advertising, but I want to make sure I am not missing a trick. All the best and love the show. Alex Mealin, website www.alexmealin.com.
This is a question. This is
still in weddings. Go on, you go for it.
Well, this is a question that I was asking at a wedding fair not long before Christmas. And Hitched was suggested to me. Was it Hitched? I think it was Hitched that was suggested as being the better of all the of all the publications. Well, in terms of what this particular person was experiencing.
Hitched as in the directory.
Yeah. Now, we were both at wedding fairs. He and his wife run a hugely successful wedding photography business. I believe they did, I'm guessing a bit, Kev, but I think it's about 60-ish last year, which I think as a number at the moment is pretty impressive. They're not cheapies. They're not the most expensive. They are in the middle of the market. I think they start at £1,600-1,700 and go into the 2,000 bit with albums and so on and so forth. But so they're a good middle to lower high end ground. They
benchmark.
Yeah, they both said to me that wedding fairs don't seem to be the thing they used to be. I know our friend Steve will say he sells loads at wedding fairs, and good for him. But I haven't been able to do that for a long time.
That's because of his sparkling personality.
Yeah, it must be. That must be what it is. But maybe I need to work on that, Kev. The sparkle isn't there. But I am thinking about doing directories this year because I do want to do a few more weddings. I don't want to do loads and loads and loads, but I do want to do a few more. And if that's a marketing way, I will do that. Blogs obviously is something I need to step up to. I have a battle plan, Kev, on that one. And Neil Ford is helping me with that. So that probably means it will actually get done now. But apart from that, I'm not convinced. I know you are, but I'm not convinced that Instagram has brought me a great deal of stuff. Again, I've not done a lot of stuff on Instagram, but even when
That's why.
But even when I was, Kev, it was never a great draw.
Yeah, well, you probably weren't using it right.
Well, what do I need to do then, Kev?
Oh, we've been through it a billion times.
Okay. So, but go through it for the billionth and one time for somebody who didn't hear that conversation we had.
I mean, the biggest problem that people have with Instagram is they concern themselves with the numbers of likes, the numbers of followers, and they shouldn't. And they should just post. I don't believe in the value of reels and stories and all that. If you're selling photos, put up photos. A lot of people seem to put reels and, photo films and all that kind of stuff up. But actually, if people are looking to buy wedding photos, they want to see just photos. So a carousel of photos every now and again with a lot, I don't mean a lot, but like 2 or 3 paragraphs of text talking about those photos, 3 or 4 hashtags at most, and not hidden, not on the first comment or ... or anything like that. And then, target your hashtags accordingly. The best hashtag that worked for me when I was doing it is hashtag wedding photographer UK. And that was the best hashtag. It's the one that seemed to give me the most reach. And yeah, just do it when you need to. Don't stress it. Don't worry about it. Don't go all fancy. Don't think you've got to, certainly I still believe, there's no real proof in this, but I still believe that if you use scheduling agents and things like that, then that's an indication to the algorithm that you can't really be bothered. And so I think it's a negative thing. So just post yourself manually, highest res images. Don't use your phone to upload them. If you can, use a computer. The quality will be better. And just kind of do it with the stuff that you want to sell. But always include the text, don't force it. Don't think and must put out 3 today. And if I only get 3 likes, it's not working, because it might be working.
I'm looking at a Instagram profile of somebody we both know. So I'm going to be a bit careful here.
Tell us.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you privately. But in fact, I'll tell you here and then I'll edit it out.
Which?
Oh, that's going to be a really funny bit, because it will be like, which...
Okay, right, fine.
I love work, first of all. I'm a massive fan. I know you are too. Mm-hmm. But the numbers don't speak to me like somebody who uses Instagram a lot, but he's not getting much response. 4 likes, 7 likes, 5 likes, 3 likes, 5 likes, 6 likes. And so the numbers go on, and they're... so it doesn't look to me like that would be for him, who is a very established photographer,
correct,
the way to work.
But what did I just say? First of all, don't think about the numbers, ignore the numbers, and certainly don't look at your competitors and worry about their numbers or think, well, they haven't got very big numbers. Now, I'm looking at a couple of the most recent posts from, and one of them has 2 lines of text and then maybe 12 hashtags. It's just lost. It's just noise. It's spam. It's just not doesn't do the algorithm any good. Think of Instagram more like a blog post, engaging and with a lot more informative feedback. That doesn't mean that the people are necessarily going to read that, but for the algorithm, it will help for sure.
Yeah.
So, but don't think about the numbers. Don't think about the numbers. And again, people will say, yeah, but you've got, I don't even know how many I've got now, 36 or whatever followers.
1,000 followers, you mean?
Yes, 36,000, whatever it is. But as I said, we were all born, 39,000, I've just checked. We were all born naked, weren't we? So
don't
we all started at zero.
Don't like to think of you that way, Kev.
Yeah, well, I'm naked now.
Oh, Kev.
It's my New Year's resolution. Every time I speak to Neil, I need to be in no clothes.
Oh, Kev, stop it.
No clothes, Neil, you're known as in my house.
Would you now? Am I? What? I completely lost my train of thought now, Kev. I did have a question there. Oh yes, if you were asked, I'm just asking for a friend, to do a naturist wedding, okay, and you couldn't even wear a belt with your camera on it. Oh, I suppose you could actually if you did it tight enough around your little tummy. Would you do it?
No.
Would you not?
No.
Why not?
Because my tackle is very private. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you could cover it with one of your small Fujifilm lenses.
I keep it limited to only 15 people who are allowed to see it.
Oh God!
It's a small group of us in Malmesbury.
Oh, now I know why they've started building a wall around it.
No. Anyway, that's not answering Alex's question, is it? Alex, we're not suggesting you become a nudist photographer.
Well, it's an angle, Kev.
Well, it could be an angle. Yeah, you got to be careful about those things. So, yeah, I mean, Instagram. Yeah, but going back to Alex's main point, bookings are more difficult. They probably, well, I mean, I'm not really in that game now, but the conversations I've had with people generally indicate there's enough work out there, but yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. But the problem, of course, I think primarily, Alex, is probably that, you did have a good business in the, whenever it was, 2017s, etc. Yeah. And then stopped, which probably means that, your website, these days, especially these days with the AI overviews and algorithms and everything, it's a lot to do with trust and authority. And, the more trust and authority that Google gives you, the higher ranking you will get in the Google ecosystem, which, of course, is not the be all and end all of everything. But yeah, certainly, I would be concentrating on Instagram for sure. I wouldn't personally waste my money on things like Facebook adverts. I think the people, the target audience for Facebook adverts typically are people who aren't going to pay much. Just typically, and I'm not saying you don't get big spenders on there, but I think, generally you're going to spend more on there than you're going to kind of get back from it. If you're going to spend money, I would probably, look at something. What was one you mentioned? Hitched or whatever.
Yeah.
But do your research because, I'm not a huge fan of those kind of directory things, but that doesn't mean they don't work. That could be worth kind of investigating. I mean, I do know somebody who relies on, not Hitched, on the other one, Guides for Brides.
Yeah.
It relies basically on all of their weddings coming from there. And they shoot a lot of weddings kind of in that 60 odd bracket, but they're all low budget weddings, which suits him.
What do you call low budget? What's low budget?
Well, kind of £400 to £600, couple of hour weddings generally, 2 hours here, 2 hours there.
That's micro weddings. That's not so bad though. Yeah. If you were going to say 400 to 600 quid and they were doing an 8-hour day.
Yes, no, absolutely. But it's still 60 days.
That's true.
It's still 60 days. So, but that's fine. That's his target, and he's more than happy with that. He uses Guides for Brides for that, and he gets, that's the budget that those people seem to want to spend, and that's fine. So, but I think generally overall, I think people try and they put up nice pictures on their website. They put up nice pictures on Instagram and everything, and then kind of sit back and wonder what's not happening. And these days, really, certainly, I 100% believe that you can't just live with a static website. People, even if they use social media to discover you, they will come to your website to look for good pictures. And, you need to think about the flow of the website. You need to think about the layout, the organization, the color schemes, all of that stuff. Blogging is super, super important. Because nowadays, especially even more than ever, Google wants to see fresh content regularly. And the more often you do that, as long as it's real and you're writing for real people rather than writing for Google itself or AI, then you'll have a better bite of that cherry.
It's not unusual for people to say they've got a bit of overload with social media, a bit of social media malaise. Mm-hmm. This is probably a good time to ask you, because my podcast called Reflections that I used to have only on the Patreon, which is I'll just give it a quick plug, Kev. Actually, the first one on the 1st of January, no, it was the second one, 2nd of January, is all about you. It's a Reflections about you, Kev. You'll smile and you'll say, I told you so. But I was talking on that one about social media malaise, I suppose, and choosing something that you love rather than thinking you have to do every single social media platform, because there are so many. And I think that's important as well, because if you service one well, great. If you try and service 3 not so well, not so great. And you'd say better to choose one. And I think you'd choose Instagram, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I have chosen Instagram, and that's all I ever used. And once it became an established thing. And yeah, I mean, I deleted my Twitter account a long time ago. Yeah. I don't have Blue Sea or whatever it's called, or any of the other ones. But that doesn't mean that they don't work, and there's probably truth in the idea of posting to more than one. But yeah, I think, what's the point if you don't enjoy doing it, or it's a stress or it's a hassle, just keep it as minimal as possible. But I do think that people, I still do think that people don't keep an eye on their websites, and the website is what's worked for me over the years.
Yeah, you're right.
So much, and it will continue to do so, even with the scary AI overviews and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now my target has changed somewhat. Well,
considerably, I'd say.
Well, it has changed considerably, but I've put more effort into the family photography side. I've put more effort into the studio, actors' headshots, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm getting bookings for those that I never really put effort into those when I was shooting weddings full time. And, so I can tell you now that, it does. The website works.
You have authority with your website anyway, because you've done so much hard work. If you were starting from scratch, how long do you think it takes? It's a bit of a how long's a piece of string question, this probably, but how long does it take to build? You've built authority up for stuff that you weren't doing before, but you did have authority in your website. That's because you put the hours in. If you were starting scratch, as per the question that came in, how is there a time period you would expect to see that authority start to build?
No, I mean you can't nail that in a linear fashion. But it's a little bit like having 2 babies born at the same time and asking which one's going to teeth first, isn't it? It will all happen roughly about the same time if you have 2 people starting from scratch. But it's all about effort, and don't put the effort in, it will not happen. And that's the fact of it. And, I utilized a lot of tips and tricks, I suppose, on my website, and in terms of creating entire blog posts about one picture or one scene at a wedding, or, a blog post. Still, one of my main pages on my website, which is a blog post I did in 2016 that gets a load of traffic, is a blog post just about black and white wedding photography. Yeah. And, I get hundreds and hundreds of hits for people who are searching for black and white wedding photography. And I booked a lot of weddings off that in the past. So, all of those things, and, you've got to keep things a bit evergreen these days, a little bit more evergreen. So
can I sing the song?
You can, go on.
That was the one. Who was it? Will Young, wasn't it? Evergreen. He won X Factor with that, didn't he? Or was he second? Can't remember. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. You got to be evergreen.
I literally have no idea what or who you're talking about.
Not Will Smith. Will Young. Did I say Will Smith? Anyway, evergreen, Kev. Evergreen.
Evergreen content, yeah. So things like that black and white wedding photography post, if I was still wanting to book weddings from that, I'd be rebuilding that post. I'd be adding new pictures to it. I'd be adding new content. Yeah. all of that stuff, keeping an eye on your metrics, which pages are working well. And very, 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 very importantly is keeping an eye on Google Console for your websites. That will tell you if there's any errors or issues. All of that stuff is easy enough to do, doesn't cost a penny. And, I would hazard a guess if you spent a couple of hours putting effort into that kind of stuff rather than throwing a couple of £100 at Facebook, it would probably be better off in the long term.
I think this is fast turning into your sort of a special website edition to start the year. And there's no problem with that because actually, even though we're talking about weddings, you can apply this to any genre. And you're already doing that. You're applying that to your headshots and your actors' shots and stuff like that. And it seems to be working very well for you. The social media is the bit that do you mind if I tag on my reflection thought to the end of today's episode? Is that all right? Because it's roughly about you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Can I do that? I'll put it at the end.
I'll take my clothes off now.
No, Kev, it's a clothed edition. Very good advice, though. Very good advice. And it doesn't matter what genre you're looking at here. Everything you have just said is applicable to every genre, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Tim Broad-Smith. These kind of start to New Year questions, really. Bit of a random list, but I'll go with it. I shoot a bit of everything, Neil and Kev. I never stick to one thing for long. Am I unfocused or just curious? Well, you haven't said here whether you're a professional or not. I suppose you have. If you were a professional, maybe being focused on your website would be important, but I don't think it's important if you're not. In fact, your Instagram for a long time, even in your professional wedding shooting days, wasn't always weddings.
No, God, no, far from it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I don't really know the framing of that question. Frame it in less than 10 words.
I shoot a bit of everything, never stick to one thing for long. Does that make me unfocused or just curious? And is that a problem when people look at my work? I.e., should I just stick to one thing? And I talk about this with my very good friend Mally, because he shoots woodland really, really well. He's blooming good at it. But he also likes to shoot a bit of street. Is that a problem?
No, but
I don't think it is either. I like the fact he does both.
Comes down to whether it's a professional thing, as you said, and we don't know the answer to that. But that doesn't mean, on my website I've got weddings, families, portraits, and everything else in between. So I don't think so. No, not at all. I mean, I kind of read from that question, or kind of took from that question, that it might be a personal problem rather than a marketing problem. I get, and maybe
I think
order what he's doing, wants to see something a bit exciting that he sees on Instagram and thinks, I'd like to try that, and kind of goes on, and we're all guilty of that. And we're all guilty of that, not just in terms of taking pictures, but in terms of projects and doing stuff. For example, you and I, we're both similar in this. We have all of these ideas and projects. We start one, and then move on to the next one before the other one's finished, and that's never a good thing.
Focus has always been a problem of mine.
And of Sony cameras.
No, Kev, you'll start a storm if you say stuff like that. I think the second part of Tim's question probably answers something you were just saying. I love landscapes, but I keep being told they're not cool anymore.
Who's telling him that landscapes are not cool anymore?
Well, yeah, because
I'd stop talking to those people.
Yeah, I think landscapes are cool.
Regardless whether...
I give you Thomas Heaton. He's cool.
Yeah, but that's a very funny statement, isn't it? Landscapes are not cool anymore. I mean, I don't do landscape photography. I can't do it. I just wouldn't know where to start, but that doesn't mean it's
Are you patient enough for landscapes, Kev?
Oh, yeah, I can sit on a hill for months. Yeah, as long as nobody bothered me.
Yeah. I'd love a project where I could just follow a monk, one of those hermit monks on the side of a mountain somewhere. What a project,
I'd
Kev.
be there with my fingernails touching my toes and my beard down to my knees.
Oh, no, Kev, I don't want you going back down. No. I don't want to follow you doing it, that's for sure. Tim, I think you need to change your friendship group. We probably shouldn't give advice like that. Go on. And then I think I've run out of questions. That's it, Kev, I think. I've got a few comments, but not really questions. Go on, go for another Facebook one.
And Estonia.
Yeah. Oh, Andy to the rescue.
Yes, Andy. Wedding venues selling in inverted comments twilight weddings in the depths of winter, ? Twilight weddings I know appeal as cheaper because of the shorter day. A venue can also run 2 weddings on the same day due to the staggered start. Can they? Blimey. However, in a winter, a 5 p.m. wedding ceremony is in pitch darkness with no actual twilight, but I'm still expected to produce typical autumnal photos for the couple. I know we live in a post-truth world, isn't that the truth? But have you ever been asked to bend the laws of physics?
Bend the laws of physics. I think Kev has. He's just been talking about it on the side of a mountain. What does he mean by that?
Well, basically, if it's a twilight wedding at a wedding venue and it's starting at 5 p.m. and the couples are expecting twilight weddings, but actually, it's pitch black. And so unless you're going to be very fancy with some lighting equipment, they're not going to get the romantic twilight pictures that they think they might be expecting.
Oh, I see.
I never come across that idea of twilight weddings at wedding venues, I have to say, but it sounds hideous.
I often get asked to do, is there a chance we're going to get a golden hour picture? But we do live in England, or I do anyway. So often my answer is possibly, because you don't know whether by the time you come out for the meal, the clouds have come across, it's all done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think that's partly an issue for people who do make those beautiful pictures, and of which there are many people.
Expectations, yeah.
Yeah, expectations. And if you just fill your website with those beautiful pictures, and the expectations, you're setting them up for a fall, really, in this country at least. So yeah, just be a little bit careful with the content and your pre-wedding questionnaires, pre-wedding notifications, etc., and explain that kind of stuff. And when it comes to this idea of twilight weddings, you just got to say to them, it's going to be dark.
You know what they say? At the end of the day, it gets dark. Biggest cliche.
Boom, boom.
It has been a bit wedding centric, this show. So
yes.
you need to help us. Send in other questions, please, that are non-wedding related. I like the idea that often the wedding related ones can shoehorn themselves into other genres as well. But do bear that in mind. Some non-wedding related ones, please. Maybe actor shot ones, headshot ones for Kev.
I've got one from Paul Sillard. He says, it's directing it directly at me, but you'll realise why in a moment. He says, "Hey Kevin, how are you going? I recently bought a friend's GFX 100 Mark II kit to complement my XF range, and I'm loving it. My question is, when do you reach for your GFX instead of one of the APS-C bodies?" And that's why it's aimed at me, because you do not have
I don't have one. I'd love to have one, Kev, but I just didn't get into shooting with one. No reason.
Well, they're expensive, aren't they, for a start? He goes on to say, I used the GFX with the GF 20 to 35mm lens for some group photos of my dad's 100th birthday last Sunday. Oh,
well done,
happy
Dad.
birthday,
Happy
Mr.
birthday.
Sillard.
Yes.
100, amazing. Yeah. This was 3 weeks ago, though. So the high resolution was
Kev,
great.
Stop. What do you mean this is 3 weeks ago, though?
Well, so there's no point saying happy birthday to him now.
Oh, I thought you were suggesting a finality. Right. Okay.
Oh, no. Happy 100th and 3 weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks birthday, Mr. Sillard Senior.
Yes. Yeah.
He said he took these group shots and the high resolution was good enough to actually pull out individual faces as portraits.
Blimey.
Yeah, well, it is. It will be. Yeah, if you use it right.
Yeah.
But to answer his question, his question was, when do you reach for your GFX instead of one of the APS-C bodies? My GFX generally, I would say 95% of the time is just for the studio stuff. I just did a shoot this morning using GFX. I only have the GFX 100S. I don't have the fancy pants one that Paul has. And that's typically it. Occasionally, I'm trying to think back to last year. I think once I took it out for some street photography. I did take the GFX 100 RF when I had that for a couple of weeks out and about. That was much easier to manage. But yeah, generally portraiture, that kind of thing would be what I would use it for. But that's because my style of work is candid, or not in the studio. So if I'm going out to do a family shoot or, documentary stuff, then it's not quick enough for me. So I would use the XF system, the APS-C system.
Right, I think we've got a last question, Kev. I have actually got one. I've got one that it's a wedding one, though. We'll just have to go with it. And actually, is an apology to you in it. It says, drinks reception checklist. Sorry, Kevin, in brackets.
Yes.
This is from Matthew Shover. No, the trouble is he's put the pronunciation of his name in brackets, and it's much easier. I can read that as Matthew and then Chauveau, but he makes it Chauveau. Chauveau. Anyway. Hi, Neil. Hi, Kev. I shot a wedding last June, and I thought it went well. I've met up with a couple twice before the actual day, so we'd be perfectly clear on our expectations. Here comes that word, Kev. It's funny. I shoot mainly documentary style, the real candid kind, not the Instagram ad staged kind, and I made sure to drive that point across. You can hear what's coming, can't you? They were totally on board, saying they wanted me to document real moments and tell the real story of the event. When I delivered the photos, they said they loved them, apart from his shiny forehead that I refused to Photoshop, that I'd done a tremendous job, but that some guests were nowhere to be found on the photos, as if they weren't even there. In retrospect, the people missing in the photos were mainly old relatives that stood in a corner drinking champagne and farting. No, it doesn't say that. And keeping to themselves. Sorry, I was just getting lost in the narrative there a bit. While I focused on moments that made more sense photographically and conveyed a better feeling of the party's mood. Do you guys make a point of shooting every single guest at least once? Or do you like this word, this is his word, I've not added this in, or do you tolerate some casualties in your workflow?
That's brilliant. Photographic casualties. I love that.
I think probably the latter, actually, because I don't promise every... And I do actually say in most meetings, if I can remember, or there's an appropriate moment, that I might not get everybody, because this is the sort of style of photography where if people do put themselves in a corner or have a habit of hiding themselves, like some people do, then I won't necessarily get them. And I think you probably need to say that to people.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, if it comes up as a conversational piece, I don't think I recall ever having that conversation with anybody, but I certainly wouldn't make a point of photographing everybody. No. You know, you might as well, what are they expecting you to do? Stand at the entrance to the church and take a picture of everybody as they enter. Yeah. I mean, it's just don't think that will happen all the time, because people, the clients that truly want true documentary wedding photography will not have that expectation. No. So I'm guessing it was just a mismatch in style and expectation, and that will happen over a period of a career. So don't lose heart on it, and don't think that's going to happen all the time, because it won't. But if there are old people in the corner farting, make pictures of it, because that's great fun.
I did take a picture at, where was it? It was in Windsor. I even remember it. Do you remember the Guildhall in Windsor? Have you ever photographed there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's got a balcony, isn't it? You stand up and you look. And I think I would have been using a 70 to 200 or something. It was a long time ago. And there was a chap at the back. It's on my Instagram. It's one of my favourites, I think. There's a chap at the back holding the baby, and there's a few people around him. And their faces are all that kind of like, oh, who did that? It's one of my favourite photographs from a wedding. It's I like stuff like that. A bit irreverent. Well, there we go, Kev. We've done it. First one of the year. 2026. They said it wouldn't last, and here we are. How many years have we been doing this now?
God, I don't know. Yeah. When did we start? We started the year before COVID. 2 years before COVID. 2
years before COVID, I think. Oh, Kev, we keep going. We need questions, though. So send them in to click@fujicast.co.uk, or indeed you can send them into the Facebook page. I'm just holding back on the theme tune for a second, because I'm going to play it in a moment. How do you join in with Facebook, Kev? Tell us.
Go to Facebook, ignore all of the cheap adverts and recommendations of people you have no idea who they are. Search for the FujiCast group, join the group, and there is I haven't updated it. There is a thread at the top that says questions for 2025. Post your questions in there. Yeah. However, don't, because I'm about to today create a new thread questions for 2026. Maybe that's why nobody's posted any questions. Because it says for 2025.
See, there we
They're all
go.
far more intelligent than I did.
Like a note to self as we were doing this. So look for the one that says questions for 2026.
Yes.
Perfect. As they say. Well, there's an extra sort of bonusy part of this show today because I've written something which was based around conversations with Kev. I want you to know, Kev, I do listen to you. I may not always action everything, but I do listen to you.
You sound like my wife.
Well, does that get to mean I see you naked then now? Am I one of the Malmesbury elect? That's
What did you say? Elect?
Stop it now, it's getting a bit laddie. Right, I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks, Kev. Bye!
Bye.
But before you think, we're all done then, the boys have said their bye thing, remember there's a bonus 10 minutes featuring my new podcast for 2026 called Reflections. Monday to Friday, a journal-style feature about being a creative. A short daily show which has been running actually on the Photo Walks Patreon for 3 months. They are very easy to consume 8 to 15-minute pieces about everything from imposter syndrome to finding photographic mojo to 365's, kit obsessions, and in today's preview, Friday's episode gone, my thoughts about social media burnout and that social media guru we all love, none other than Kev Mullins. If you like what you hear, search for Reflections on your podcast player app, make sure you subscribe, and every day you will receive a new short creative thought for the day. So, here's Reflections. Hope you enjoy. We never do have the time. Considering that Bing Crosby penned those words 77 years ago, they're remarkably pertinent today. I'd argue far more so now when you consider the pace of this constant, non-stop, go-go, hectic, helter-skelter, news-on-demand, always-connected world. The song starts with the title, We're Busy Doing Nothing. Then, working the whole day through, trying to find lots of things not to do. We're busy going nowhere. Isn't it just a crime? We'd like to be unhappy, but we never do have the time. It's theatre of the silly. Really, that's what it is, with lines like, I have to watch the river to see that it doesn't stop, and then checking on the sun because, well, it could sleep all day otherwise. It also feels like a shot across the bows for all those people who weaponise these words. I'm busy. I try very hard not to use this expression. Is it an expression? I'm busy or I'm so busy feels like an elevation of self-importance to me. Come on, you know those people who use it constantly, as if you couldn't possibly be as important as they are because you're not as busy as they are. I'm too busy to meet for lunch, I'm too busy to take a phone call, I'm far too busy to hang on. I think I've been doing that, even when I'm trying not to. That version of busyness feels uncomfortably familiar online as well, doesn't it? So much of social media time is spent maintaining motion rather than direction. Refreshing your feed to make sure it's still alive. Watching numbers tick over. Checking that posts haven't sunk without trace. Lurking in case a conversation starts. Hovering just in case. It's a bit creepy actually, isn't it? There's a sense that something needs supervising, even when it probably doesn't. That if you step away, the whole thing might just fall apart. The algorithm might forget you. The audience, God forbid, might drift away. And then what are you left with? Social media can be a bit like making a digital errands round, can't it? A like or two here to show a bit of goodwill. A comment just to stay visible. A post, not because there's something pressing to say, but because it's been a while, and that's bloody risky in the non-stop, go-go, hectic, helter-skelter, news-on-demand, always-connected world. It all adds up to activity, but not always to connection. Which brings me to a line that a mate of mine, a photographer and an online guru to many, uses. Remember the social in social media, says Kevin Mullins. You're there to interact, not to shout into the ether or humble brag. But, and there's always a but, what if social media is part of your business strategy? Like this piece, for instance. Social media is a great place to post a link. Otherwise, I've got a world's best-kept secret business strategy, haven't I? So, okay, where to post then? Because there's Instagram grids, Instagram stories, Instagram reels, Facebook personal profiles, Facebook pages, Facebook groups, threads, X, LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn articles, Substack posts, Substack notes, blog posts, email newsletters, YouTube videos, YouTube shorts, WhatsApp, TikTok posts, TikTok stories, Pinterest pins, Pinterest boards, Reddit threads, Medium articles, Tumblr, Flickr photo streams, Flickr groups, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Slack communities, Dribble. Oof. What, really? Dribble? Yeah, Dribble with 3 Bs. But dribble is what that list makes me want to do in a corner, rocking to the words of busy doing nothing. No wonder I keep hearing people say they don't have time for social media anymore. And not necessarily in an angry way, not slammed doors, deleted apps and all that stuff. More like the way you say you haven't had time to phone an old friend, a bit weary, a bit apologetic, as if time itself has been mislaid somewhere behind the sofa. And yet somehow the phone keeps lighting up, doesn't it? Social media asks for time in little slices. It wants 10 minutes here, 2 minutes there, a scroll while the kettle boils, a glance before bed that turns into something else entirely. You're not scheduling this stuff, it's just leaking in. What's interesting isn't that we're tired, and that part makes perfect sense to me. What's interesting is how conflicted we've become about where we spend what little creative energy we have left. Actually, let me drop the we for a moment and concentrate on the I, because you may not agree that this is necessarily you. I think not all platforms feel the same anymore. There are places I go because I enjoy them, and places I go out of habit. Places I go because I once put a lot of effort into building something there, and it feels wrong to abandon it. A sort of FOMO-ish. And actually, that's a fair point because, there's the fear side of it. Not a dramatic fear, darling, nor panic, more this low-level worry that if I stop showing up, I'll disappear. That opportunities will just go and happen elsewhere to somebody else, to somebody who's more consistent, more visible, more willing to play along. Algorithm snoggers, as I've grumpily called them in the past, just between you and I. I wouldn't want that to get out. I do think that most of us can feel the difference between platforms that give something back and platforms that don't. But still, we court the ones that misbehave, if you like. So knowing that doesn't always change our behaviour. I think that's where the real question is now sitting with me. Not which platform should I be on, but what does this ask of me and what does it give back? Some platforms reward performance, some speed, some repetition. Some reward outrage, whether you meant to offer it up or not. A few still reward attention, curiosity, patience. And those places, they do feel slower, even if they're not. But the important thing is, there's room for reading, for thinking, for responding rather than reacting. And the one I personally enjoy at the moment, though I've been admiring it from afar really, is Substack. It's not perfect, and as with all these things, there are narratives about the place in the background. I'm not sure what to believe or think, but that place makes reading matter. And I keep saying I want to do more of that, reading. Food for my brain, instead of my brain becoming food for a platform. Reading matters more than I care to admit, actually. Posting gets all the attention, doesn't it? But reading is where the tone of a place can reveal itself. You can tell very quickly whether people are listening to each other or just waiting for their turn to make a noise, as my grandma used to say. I wouldn't say I've had an epiphany, but this is a thought to consider. If you don't enjoy reading somewhere, it's hard to enjoy posting there, isn't it? You know that old line that was used when you and I originally fell in and then out of love? I don't actually mean you and I mean the act of being struck by Cupid's arrow, then somebody coming along and whipping the rug from under your love-struck stumbly feet. If you love someone, set them free. If they come back, it was always supposed to be. If they don't, Well, it was never meant to be. It can be a something as much as a someone, of course. My grandma, I think, was the first to use that in my life. She was a wise woman indeed. Letting go of platforms can feel oddly like letting people down or go, even when those people don't know you. There's a sense of obligation wrapped up in audience numbers and follower counts. And I keep coming back to what my mate Kev talks about. The idea of putting the social back into social media. Social means interaction. It means exchange. It means being affected by other people, not just broadcasting at them. If a platform doesn't allow for that or actively discourages it, then no amount of scheduling or optimization will make it feel right, surely. I don't have the answers here, BTW. It's in many ways a stream of consciousness. Social media, I do think, is a great invention. I'm not saying it's a behemoth to run away from. Well, I don't think I am, but you or I certainly could do with thinking about how we invest our time, or my time, in it. Choose one and do it well, or a couple perhaps, and claim some time back. We never did have the time though, if we're honest, did we? We made it. We borrowed it from sleep and rest and boredom. Does this place make me think? Does it make me laugh? Does it introduce me to people I wouldn't otherwise meet? Does it bring an idea or three to me? Does it make me want to pick up a camera or write or go for a walk or look more closely at the world rather than scroll past it? If the answer is yes, even occasionally, that's probably enough for a social media platform. If the answer is no, and it has been for a while, then perhaps it's not about finding more time at all. Maybe it's, and I'm going to sound a bit self-help book sentencey here for a moment, so forgive me, perhaps it's about giving yourself permission to spend it elsewhere without guilt, without making one of those terrible big public needy announcements, and definitely without keeping one eye on what you might be missing. We do not need to be everywhere. We never did. We just need to be somewhere that feels worth the time we're giving it. Now, if you'll excuse me, as Bing Crosby said, I have to go and rehearse the Songbirds to hear that they sing in key. I'm very busy, you know.